1 minute, Mayor.
1 minute. Ron, you want to go ahead and let them know about signing up?
Good afternoon, everyone. Anybody that hasn't, we have a sign-in sheet for everybody in attendance. If you haven't signed in, if you would please sign. Chief Chavez has the sign-in sheet. We also have for public input, anybody that wants to speak under the public input, this will be your last chance to sign up for that. Thank you very much.
Oh, of course. Yes, I am ready. All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Village of Ruidoso regular meeting. Today is August the 9th. It's 2022. It's not 9 o'clock. It's 1 o'clock. So if you'll join me, we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and invocation by Mayor Pro Tem Salas.
Oh, I can't hear it.
Gracious Father in heaven, our God, creator of the universe and all that is in it, we surrender this time to conduct the business of the Village of Ruidoso for the residents, visitors, and all that takes place here. Father, we ask for your wisdom, your guidance, and understanding as we conduct this business. Bless those that are feeling ill and those that are recuperating. Let us just continue to acknowledge you in all things. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the Zia symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
All righty. Thank you, everybody. And to those that are in attendance, we appreciate it. And to the millions that are out there on the internet, we appreciate you tuning in. And we'll have a roll call, Ron.
Mayor Crawford.
Here.
Councilor Salas.
Here.
Councilor Letterman.
Here.
Councilor Eby.
Here.
Councilor Hooker.
Here.
Councilor Coughlin.
Here.
Councilor Jackson.
Here.
All present, Mayor. We have a quorum.
All right. I'll take a motion for the approval of today's agenda. Please give the permission to the chair to move items around.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the agenda items as presented be accepted and that the chair be given the opportunity to move agenda items for discussion as needs must.
I will second.
Discussion? Roll call, Ron.
Councilor Jackson.
Aye.
Councilor Hooker.
Aye.
Councilor Coughlin.
Aye.
Councilor Salas.
Aye.
Councilor Letterman.
Aye.
Councilor Eby.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, folks. We're going to go ahead and move through the consent regular items. These have all been addressed, looked at, and reviewed by the council. So we put them in one sum so we can kind of move things along. Item number 1 is approval of the governing body minutes, June 29th, 2022 special meeting minutes, July 12th, 2022 regular meeting minutes. Item number 2, adoption of resolution 2022-33, a resolution approving an agreement setting forth the terms and conditions of active membership in the Southeastern New Mexico Economic Development District Council of Governments. Item number 3 is adoption of resolution 2022-34, a resolution supporting a public-private economic development Main Street project for fiscal year 2022-2023. Approval, number 4, approval of recommendation from Lodgers Tax Committee on renewal agreement with Ellen Barone for website content creation in the amount of $1,000 per month. Item number 5 is the approval of grant agreement with Energy Minerals and Natural Resources Department, EMNRD, for Wildland Urban Interface and Hazardous Fuels Reduction at the Sierra Blanca Regional Airport. Item number 6, approval of award of RFP number 2023-001P to Dubois and King, Inc. for professional engineering services for bridge and culvert replacements, but I know it as Dubois.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I got it right. We just want to cover all the bases. Item number 7, approval of agreement RFP number 2023-001P with Dubois and King, Inc. for professional engineering services for bridge and culvert replacement. And the rains are coming. Item number 8, approval of task order RFP number 2019-008P-008P-8 with Ye and Associates, Inc. for professional engineering services for Grindstone Dam emergency spillway and dam crest repairs in the amount not to exceed $234,610.13, including gross receipts tax. Number 9, ratification of aviation grant agreement project number SRR-23-01 with the New Mexico Department of Transportation, NMDOT, for Taxiway Alpha and restriping Part 139 at the Sierra Blanca Regional Airport in the amount of $20,000. Item number 10, GRT included in all that, or is that just the grant, Ron? The 20 even?
Mayor Crawford, just a grant for 20,000. Yes.
Thank you. Item number 10, request to schedule a public hearing on September 13th, 2022 on case number 2022-279, public vacation of a portion of Alamogordo Street and public dedication of roadway, applicant Dana Shank, location 143 Fern Trail, Ruidoso, New Mexico, lot 678 of Block D of the Ruidoso Springs subdivision. Item number 11, request to schedule a public hearing on September 13th, 2022 on ordinance 2022-06, an ordinance amending the Village of Ruidoso Municipal Code of Ordinance, Chapter 54, Land Use, Article 2, Zoning, Division 5, Signs, Sections 54-181 through 186, Sections 54-188 through 192, and Sections 54-193 through 196. Y'all ought to come. It's a real page turner to be in there on that one. Number 12, request to schedule a public hearing on September 13th, 2022, an ordinance 2022-07, an ordinance amending Chapter 86, Utilities, Article 3, Sewers, Section 86 through 64, determination of revenues, expenses, and debt service. Okay? Do I get a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve those consent items as read.
Second. Do we have any discussion?
Yes, I would like to say, and the mayor alluded to it there, but on that public hearing for the signs and stuff, I've been going out to some of the business, spreading the word to look over this. Some didn't know that, but I would just ask your courtesy and your time if you would just spread the word about that we're reviewing this sign ordinance. It affects a lot of organizations, a lot of businesses, so the more word that we get out about this, it would help us on that public hearing next month. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Roll call, Ron.
Counselor Hooker?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Aye.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Counselor Salas?
Aye.
Counselor Coughlin?
Aye.
Counselor Jackson?
Aye.
Thank you.
And just a note to our Chief of Fire Department and our new emergency manager, wave over there, Danielle. Hey, she's
Hey,
in town.
Danielle.
So just keep us up to date on the rain and what's happening, you know, where. Okay, we're going to move into public input. It's limited to the first hour of the meeting, so we ask that you be cordial, pleasant, and just the basic rules. It's a presentation to be put on record, and there's no back and forth discussion over it. But rest assured, anything that's said up here, the clerk takes it down, and then we review it, and then we will get back with you folks.
And I will give you a 2-minute warning sign.
Yeah, it's not peace. It's you got 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Okay, we're going to start off with, and if you'll come up to, we have a microphone up here. That's just so we can get you on record, and the people on Zoom and YouTube can see you. Hoyt Graham. Hello, Hoyt. Just have a seat there.
My name is Hoyt Graham, and I am a resident of Carrizo Canyon, have been for about 50 years. And my issue is with traffic control, speeding on Carrizo Canyon. Like I said, I've lived there for a long time, and I've seen it, well, I saw it whenever it was almost a dirt road. But the traffic out there is ridiculous. And I've talked to the chief about it already, about putting signs up or something. But I mean, I've even asked for speed bumps. I mean, you can't even pull out of your driveway without somebody honking at you or doing worse. And so my concern is the traffic, the speed limit's 30 miles an hour, and I can promise you there's times when cars go down through there 70, 80 miles an hour. I've been passed on that road between Grindstone and my house, and the speed limit's 30 miles an hour, and I'm not going to say I'm exactly 30 miles an hour speed driver, but I am within 5 miles, I'm sure. But when they pass you like that and you have to slow down because oncoming traffic, and you can hear them come, I can hear them. You know, you can tell if they're speeding or not. And so that was my concern, is try to get you guys aware that Carrizo Canyon is not just a little road anymore. I mean, it's a highly traveled road. And so I would prefer to try to see something, you know. I've talked to the state police about it. I've had the state police come out there and sit, had the local police department set too. And I don't know if they wrote any tickets or not, but, you know, I think if you even parked a car out there with a dummy in it, that people would slow down. But that was his concern, just mine. But, I mean, there's other neighbors, and that place is starting to fill up with more and more people all the time, and with little kids. And I would just like to see if we couldn't do something to try to slow the traffic down. Put up those flashing lights that says you're going too fast or whatnot like that. Anything to help control the traffic, in my opinion. And so that was the reason that I came here today, was just for that purpose, and that purpose only, is to try to let you guys know that the traffic out there is ridiculous. So anything we can do, anything you guys can do to help out, it'd be appreciated, not by me, but by everybody else that lives there. You know, so I appreciate your time, and that's all I have to say.
Well, thank you, Mr. Graham.
Thank you, Mr. Graham, yes.
We've got it on the radar. So much for the company party that the kids were going to enjoy this afternoon at Grindstone Lake. 2 years in a row. I guess we need to change our location, but we're thankful for the rain. Item number 2, Gail Runnels. Come on down. Jessica, see if she can hand out something for the clerk. There you go.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
It's so nice to meet you all or see you in person. We get your newsletter in the mail, and it's nice to put a face with a name. Anyway, and I'd love it if Lynn could do something about giving some of his hair to my husband over there.
Side note is I know these guys personally, so.
And you all don't have a bad view to sit here and have these meetings. So anyway, you don't know me. My husband and I live in McAllen, Texas. I am a great animal lover. I'm not a radical environmentalist, but I worked with whales and dolphins for over 30 years along the Texas coast, and I sat on a state board there with 6 other Texas state residents, and we oversaw strandings and tried to save or see why whales stranded along the Texas coast. Even went so far to get involved with whales and dolphins that my sister and I wrote a children's book on whales that we've enjoyed and had a lot of fun educating children about whales. Well, I'm not here today to talk to you about whales. Ruidoso doesn't have whales that we have to worry about. But as I mentioned, my husband and I permanently reside in McAllen, Texas. We started visiting Ruidoso in 2006, and we bought a home here in 2008, located in the Upper Canyon at 118 Peak. We have family here. We love the town, we love the people, and of course we love your weather, and especially the coolness in the summer and the early fall. Our property is about the size of an acre and has a guest house on it that we use solely for family and friends. Since buying the property, we've made a number of improvements on it. We have spent over $100,000 in landscaping, which includes installing underground watering for plants and trees, rebuilding stone walls that were falling down, and we've spent over $250,000 remodeling bathrooms, painting, and adding an outdoor covered barbecue area and recreational area for us to enjoy, especially in times like today when it's raining. Trees have been removed that your Forest Service and the city have recommended, and we've continued a yard plan of pine needle removal all these years for fire safety. We've worked hard at maintaining and upkeeping our property on a level that you would be proud of for the good of the city. With the addition of the outdoor covered area, we added outdoor furniture with padded cushions. Herein lies our problem. In 2018, we began to experience a problem with feral cats sleeping on all of our outdoor furniture. The cushions became dirty and would have a lot of hair each day that would need to be cleaned to allow us to use them. We had come up with a solution for the problem, we thought. We started at first to place rat and mouse traps on each cushion at night. That worked for a while, but eventually the cats realized that if the traps were sprung, they were no longer effective, and so they continued to settle on them each night. We started propping up the cushions against the backs of the chairs, still to no avail, as the cats would rest on the tops of the cushions anyway. Then we had to resort to bringing them in at night, which became quite a chore, as some of them from the larger chairs were very heavy. The problem continues today, but I will go back to 2018 when there were so many cats that they decided to start to use my potted plants on our decks as litter boxes. I can assure you that cat feces smells, and as I will point out further in my presentation, cat feces is unsafe for humans.
2 minutes.
I tried different animal sprays to deter them from the pots with no success, and finally resorted to buying, 1 minute already?
1 minute and 20 seconds.
Oh my gosh. Well, as you are aware, in 2020, COVID changed our lives. When we returned to Ruidoso in 2021, we discovered that a large number of cats had taken up residency in our heating vents underneath our guest house. It cost us $4,000 that year to repair those vents. We couldn't use the house because of the smell. But the problem continues. We tried trapping the cats ourselves. We bought a trap. We went to Humane Society. We bought permits to have the cat spayed and neutered. We did everything that we could, but we were having to go home. So finally we hired a pest control company from the city. After we left, it cost us over $300 to catch only 2 cats. That wasn't going to solve anything for us. So we've hired someone at a cost of $500 a month now to help us for caring for the yard and to catch the stray cats. Since last September, I want to tell you that since we've hired this gentleman until the end of May when we returned here, we have caught over 60 cats on our 1 acre piece of property. I want to repeat that. It's over 60 cats. Ruidoso has a problem that is not just my problem, but it is a city problem. And
Time, Mayor.
okay,
I'm sorry, Gail, we have a
That's all right.
time allotment, but do you have a copy? Is that what she gave you?
That's what to Ron, so we'll
Okay,
get that.
he'll distribute that to the council,
Okay.
and then we'll
I would
start.
just like to reiterate that it is a serious health problem, not just an issue of the cat sleeping on my cushions. I appreciate your time.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you all for the time you give to the city.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. Next is Thomas Gilly. You'll have 5 minutes.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for the work that you do in this community. And I bought a house on 102 K-Bab Drive back in 2006. And property I want to mention is 116 Cherickawa. It's
Oh, yeah.
been an eyesore for a long time. And there's been a couple of times it's been cleaned up with a roll-off, but now it's abandoned, and kind of curious what you can get done about that. There's so much trash in the backyard, and it's basically a fire hazard like it sits right now. So what does the council have any action to?
Well, and again, it's on our agenda today, but during this time of public input, there's not an allowing of give and take.
Oh,
But if
okay.
you want to hang around, it's item number 14, and I'm going to move it around.
All right.
So we can address it.
Yeah, I sure would appreciate something being done about it.
Okay, you bet.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
The good news is with the weather, people aren't going to leave immediately after the public.
That's true. So we
Yeah.
got a little captive audience here today. And I'll just go and let the cat out of the bag. We're going to have some cake. Are we going to have ice cream too? Where did Yvonne go?
She goes back.
We'll have a break here in a minute because it's our village manager's birthday.
Right.
Anyway, you might hang around and get a piece of cake, and unless your blood sugar's like his, and then you would just get to look at it. Okay, now we go to Mike Billings.
Don't let Marilyn do it.
Yes, Council. I'm Mike Billings. I'd like to wait till item 14.
Okay, you got it.
I'll just
You're on
walk an extra
KBAB
mile.
2.
I'll walk an extra mile, Mayor.
Okay, is that what happens in the rain?
Yeah, no pictures taken and sent to Marilyn when that happens.
Kevin Flaherty. Okay, Galen.
Good afternoon,
Good afternoon.
all councilors, Mayor Crawford. On 30 May 2021, 6 residents of Legacy Lane wrote letters of opposition to the New Mexico Environment Department voicing community concerns about the proposed Roper Construction concrete batch plant to be installed near the intersection of State Highways 48 and 220. The well-being of the community was and still is being threatened. Approximately 1 year later, the Alto Coalition for Environmental Protection, which was and still is a group of volunteers, became a government-permitted 5013C nonprofit organization due to the legal conflict to maintain the Billy the Kid National Scenic Byway as an environmentally responsible State Highway 220 corridor. The Alto CEP involvement and the now 2,000 oppositional community members has led to Mr. Roper's 2 permit denials by NEMIT's hearing officer and the Deputy Cabinet Secretary. But due to appeals, the threat to our environment is not over and will continue for many more months as Mr. Roper continues his assault on the community's well-being with appeals. Research during the last 12 months has led to a long-term commitment to environmental and education protection by the Alto CEP, which is concentrating on, on residential portion of the National Scenic Byway, although Lindmark Outdoor Media has recently placed a billboard on state property at the intersection of Rio Felix and State Highway 220. The beneficiary is listed as the New Mexico Common Schools Fund. During my 45 years as an educator in Ruidoso, I've never heard the term. Will the area schools benefit from this intrusion? Are you aware of this fund? The Alto CEP has pledged to not only prevent heavy industry from establishing a foothold in a primarily residential and light commercial community, but to also reestablish the core intrinsic values of the 220 corridor: scenic, natural, historic, recreational, archaeological, cultural. The Alto CEP has amassed over $800,000 in legal fees, which is being paid by the residents on a monthly installment plan.
2 minutes.
This financial responsibility is being addressed by generous donations and creative fundraisers. The fight is continuing. Although the Alto CEP is currently directly involved in preventing heavy industry intrusion, it is also aware of the major water issues that have plagued the area for years. The Alto CEP's commitment to an educational awareness of crucial environmental strategies will maintain an elevated quality of life experience that is expected by residents and visitors alike. Thank you for this opportunity to update the Council about the Alto CEP. Mr. Flaherty, Vice Chairman of the organization, and I stand for questions at this time. I realize that this is not usually, but I was actually caught off guard at the County Commissioner's Office meeting last month when they asked me questions that I'd already answered. So I thought I'd give you the opportunity to ask me questions because I know I haven't addressed everything.
Well, I'll tell you, we try to stick to our program because years past, you know, we had people that were, what's the word?
Intense?
Intense, emotional,
Yeah.
that would get into tit for tat, and we found that wasn't a way to handle it. But rest assured, we do, all the things that are brought up, we do address them with different departments and what we can find and make inquiries where we can. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Farrington.
You're welcome, Mr. Salas.
And I'm glad you're wearing that Warrior chest shirt, too.
Absolutely. 45 years?
Yeah. Mr. Flaherty.
Good day.
Hey.
I know the rain is beautiful, but it's kind of hard to hear people's voices, so I'm going to speak up a little bit. Because
Please do.
I think that this is what we're here for, is because we're passionate about our community. We're passionate about our jobs in our community. And we even get more passionate when we get to retire and stay here and live here and appreciate everything that Lincoln County has to offer. What Galen just told you are all facts about our situation as the Alto Coalition for Environmental Preservation. The road is long, the road is windy. We've had 2 issues that have gone before the state, and we have won both those battles. But in America, you get 4 swings at every pitch. So he's pitching it, he's swinging again. On the 22nd of September, we found out yesterday that we have to go back and start over a hearing with the EIB. And you know what that means. I'm curious, did everybody hear the figure $800,000? $800,000. I'll say it a little bit louder. Where does $800,000 come from? It comes from concerned citizens. It comes from you guys. It comes from us. We all live in Lincoln County. Yes, Ruidoso. Lived in Ruidoso for a long time. Moved out to Alto. I'm Lincoln County born and bred. This is why we're here, telling you guys how imperative that our voices get heard, because obviously the individual that is trying to put in this cement batch plant on Highway 220 isn't. And I am just flabbergasted, that's a good word, flabbergasted, that this individual continues to push his case, thinking that where he wants to put his cement plant is a good place for his neighbors, a good place for his community, a good place for his business. He's the only one that'll win here. One word that comes to mind, and I passed out some flyers for you, made copies of these, is bipartisan. We had both, again, 6 months ago, the Democratic and the Republican Party in Lincoln County, both united for the first time in the 48 years I've lived here, reminding you what how deep this goes and how much people are getting together and trying to join together and find a solution to this. The gentleman has been offered to purchase the property that he bought at a profit, still digs his heels in. We've spent so much money on scientists that are here telling us that what these kind of things do. You let a weed get into a crack in the asphalt, and that asphalt will the value of that asphalt will disappear. You let a concrete cement batch plant in on Highway 220, the next thing that comes up is going to be an asphalt plant. The next thing that's going to come up is, you name it. Heavy industry does not belong on Highway 220, especially in the first 7-8 miles of that, which is residential land. Yes, it is commercial, but that does not give the right of people to think that just because it's commercial land that you can do anything you want with it. Bipartisan. Take that to your heart. Know why we're here. Know why we are here to remind you. I go around town and we're passing out flyers for our August 26th fundraiser at El Sueño. Y'all are welcome. Money goes to the cause. We're going to have music, we're going to have a magician, and we're going to have good food from the buttery up at the El Sueño. If you've never been there before, tremendous wedding venue, gorgeous view, and we can all join together and create harmony and create bipartisanship. Back to that word. If we don't show our kids and show our grandkids how it is right to be an adult in Lincoln County and do the right thing, then they are not going to do the right thing when it's their turn. Because we're not going to be here forever. Sometimes it feels like it. And I'm not going soon. I will be here more likely than ever, forever. Because I've got a heart as big as all of Lincoln County, and I want to protect it. You guys are here, and you guys are voices in your positions. Please use your strength, use your voice, use your power to get the word out that just because one person would win in this situation doesn't mean that the rest of the county loses. And that's what's going to happen. I appreciate the time. I appreciate Gavilan being right with me because we're all part of it. Alto CEP is going to continue even after we win this battle as knowledge bearers and as Firewise caretakers of the entire community, and we're going to be doing all sorts of wonderful things to help causes like this. We're not one-trick pony. And I never thought I'd be in this position, but I came out of my life and I found a good reason to be able to voice my opinion and get in front of you guys, and hopefully you hear what we're asking for is your support. We know we have it. We need your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Okay, that concludes our public input portion. Now we'll move on to mayoral reports and presentations, and then we'll get to the other things so we can get to that item. We're going to have introduction of the new Village of Ruidoso employees. This is always a fun time because in these days it's hard to find people willing to do things, and then much less really good ones. And I see our manager just left and our chief of the fire department, and they're saying that they are closing down Gavilan Canyon, Warrior Drive, and Hull, right there where the burn scar's at. That they're having so much runoff, so that's closed over there. New employees, Leonard Newbill. There he is. Come on up, Leonard Newbill. Leonard. We traditionally are not trying to embarrass everybody, but we want people to see who we got, who was here. But Leonard Newbill is our new project manager. Everybody wonders how we get a lot of this stuff done. And Leonard's now a new addition to the team. You bet. Thanks for being here. We've seen him around. We haven't seen him.
We'll keep you busy.
So, Leonard, this is your council. So anything you need, you reach out. And we appreciate you being here. And I know you got a lot to do. Do you have anything you'd like to say?
Just that I appreciate the responsibility. It is a big one to make sure that, as we go through parts, we save money where we can, and we be as efficient as we can. So I'm up for the task, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Where'd you move from?
Las Cruces by way of Colorado, by way of El Paso, by way of Las Cruces.
Well, let's hope that you stay here a while.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Anyway, all right, Christina Armijo. She is the Assistant Finance Director / Capital Projects Manager. And we have how many projects going on? 66. Less,
66.
Yeah. And that's everything from the Upper Canyon, the mitigation that we have going on the sewer line to the street projects. Welcome aboard. She's been here, what, 2 weeks?
Stella, thank you.
This is my 4th week.
This is your 4th week. Well, time does fly. So do you have anything you'd like to say? This is your one opportunity right in front of everybody.
I'm happy to be here. It's a great team to work with, and I look forward to serving the citizens in any way that I can.
Where did you come from before you got to the area?
I was working for the city of Albuquerque, and I live in Blanca.
Okay. Well, we're glad to have you here.
Happy to be here.
Hopefully this first 4 weeks has been pretty good too.
It's been great.
Oh, it has? All right. If she had been here about 2 months ago, she wouldn't have said that because we didn't have your office finished. Or maybe it's been longer than that by now because she's got a new office. Dontrell Sims, Parks and Rec maintenance worker. Dontrell is part now of the busiest, well, we have busy departments everywhere, but the Parks and Rec gets a ton of credit for all the different things that go on in the village of Ruidoso.
Welcome, Dontrell.
Thank you.
Welcome to Ruidoso.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome, Tim. Where are you from, Dontrell?
I'm originally from Chicago. Welcome.
Oh, wow.
From Chicago.
That's a drive.
What motivated you to move to New Mexico?
Well, my wife and I came down for the winter park. So we've been down here for 5 years so far.
So far. Well, good. We're glad you're here at the village.
Yes.
And we've got a lot of stuff going on at Winter Park, so that's good. Yeah. Well, we're glad to have you. Do you have anything else you'd like to say? Not at all? Well, introduce your wife to us since she's in the back. It's a family affair.
Yeah, you came.
Just tell us your name. Kay. Hi, Kay. Yeah, we're glad you're here. Yeah. Hopefully you stick around for cake later. Okay. All right, Dontrell, thank you. Dale Coronado had to leave. She was our new emergency manager. She's out. That's who we got the text from a while ago, she and our fire chief. Andrew Solins, IT, thank the Lord you're here. I'm not surprised you're young. First thing out of the bat, I said, can you help me with this? So as much we have professional IT folks that we call, but we need people day to day.
Congratulations.
Welcome aboard. And he's able to get underneath the desk and change out printers. Because I don't like seeing some of these folks have to crawl under their own desk because we have to go and grease them up to get them out sometimes. So tell us where you're from.
I'm from Georgia, and I moved here around 4 years ago. And I love working with technology, so I appreciate the opportunity.
What part of Georgia?
Albany.
Albany.
A little bit away from it there.
Okay. Well, we're glad that you're here.
Welcome.
All right. Welcome.
Oh.
Christy De Los Santos, customer service rep. Is she customer servicing?
She's work customers.
Okay, we're happy there. We have J.D. Bacchus promoted from Assistant Water Operator 3, promoted to Water Plant Operator 4. Series 4, that a boy. This guy's coming a long way, aren't you, J.D.?
What's that?
Said you're coming a long way.
Yeah.
I remember when he started at the water department, and then he found out that he could go to some training and get his Series 4. Oh, it was exactly the way it was, the way I remember it. Congratulations.
Good job. Thank
Mayor,
you.
when I met when I met JD, it just had a life-saving award.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yeah, a couple years ago. Remember that?
That's right. I remember that.
You have to remind me.
They saved them dogs out of the lake, I think.
Oh, okay. A dog.
Yeah.
Was it a dog and a person or a person?
Dogs.
Anyway, JD, you're doing good. Keep it up. You're a young guy, and you may be the manager before it's all over with. Frank Candelaria, Ruidoso wastewater treatment plant operator, lab tech, promoted to production compliance operator.
Frank, good.
Great job, Frank.
Good job, Frank.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Was that some new swag he's wearing? That's the first time I've seen one of those kind of shirts.
That's a nice shirt.
Anyway, to let everybody know, our wastewater treatment plant is number one in the what, Frank?
And the number 2 business.
That's right.
I'm on the other side.
Yeah, that's okay. You know what? Okay. Anyway, thank you. You guys do an awesome job with what you do. Jeremy Garcia, water distribution maintenance worker, promoted to water production, water resource maintenance technician.
Oh, all right, Jeremy.
Title.
All right.
Maybe you can tell us what that title means exactly.
So I'll be a maintenance worker for now, but I'll be working my way up eventually to become an operator at this water production.
Awesome. Which plant is it? Both of them?
I'm going to be at plant 4 for now,
Okay.
in the water production side. So
Okay, awesome. Well, congratulations,
thank
Jeremy.
you, sir.
Plant four is over by Grindstone Lake.
All right, well, that concludes that portion of our program today, but man, it's always nice to have, without great employees and people that are dedicated, we don't have a great village. So thank you very much, folks. Then we'll move into our hospital. Presentation by the New Mexico Hospital Association and Lincoln County Medical Center on a donation to the Ruidoso Housing Trust Fund. See you guys.
All right.
So with us today, we have Todd Overhue, who is El Jefe at the hospital. So welcome, Todd, as usual. And Todd also serves on our Workforce Housing Board, I must say. Thank you, buddy.
If you could talk.
Yeah, we can hear you over here, and you'll tell us who the young lady is?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, councilors. Todd Overhue, Hospital Chief Executive, Lincoln County Medical Center. We're very excited to be here today. I'm here with Julia Rutan. She is with the New Mexico Hospital Association. Of course, most of y'all know. And
yeah, man.
There you go. So most of y'all know Brad Treptow, and who's a key member of our staff there. The New Mexico Hospital Association actually, we held an event here out at the inn, and most of the hospital chiefs execs within the state of New Mexico were in attendance at that. During that event, the Hospital Association did a fundraiser for the fire victims within the state of New Mexico. And because of that, they took that money, they split it between the northern fire and then, of course, our fire, the dollar amount. When they came to me and said they want to make this donation to the community, I was able to get Presbyterian and my facility on board to match what they did as well. So we're very pleased today to make a presentation of $10,000 together to the Ruidoso Housing Trust Fund to help support the victims. Very proud of what's going on over on Meacham Street. I think it's a great move in the right way for us as a community. I know that it's directed hopefully to help out many of the fire victims that were impacted by the McBride fire. And so we're just excited to be able to make this donation to the community.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Photo op, you bet.
Get over there, Mayor.
Sorry, he's the best we can do.
I'm telling you what, man, the joke around there is you have to get 20 pictures of me before you get one good one.
I don't think that's probably accurate.
That is very accurate.
No, it takes more than that. Yeah, you're right.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. Thanks, Todd.
We'll have that in the newsletter. And what Todd was alluding to was the property we have right down here on Meacham behind Dollar General. The village has been able to purchase through grants, a lot of different monies that have come in from things just like this. Of course, the village has put in for the purchase price. And a lot of work's being done over there right now. We're actually tying in sewer and water. And so we have the homes, they should be coming in the end of this month, first of next month, just so that we can take care of, what is it, 13 or 15 families? Are we up to the fire victim that'll be?
There's 15 families that we have identified at this time.
And they'll be the ones that are first, because we have a professional management company that's taking over this in the real estate with Berkshire Hathaway. So they'll be vetting all these folks to put them in there so we can do more for that. But we're very proud of that. We've been working on housing for years, and we're really starting to make some big steps. So thank you again for that, Todd. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Todd.
Okay, we want to move on to boards and commission appointments. We have the reappointments to the COG, Council of Governments, which is a fine organization where we're able to tie in to so many different funding opportunities, making us aware, because there is a lot of money that's out there. You just have to know where it's at and how to go after it. So I would like approval to reappoint Councilor Coughlin. Are you doing a good job over there? I haven't heard one negative thing out of you.
Well, then that's good.
Okay, I know he shows up to all the meetings. He's over in Roswell all the time. That's where the meetings are at. And also our manager, Tim Dodge. So I'd like a motion to approve the reappointment, please.
Mr. Mayor.
Okay, I have a so move and a
Second.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, roll call, Ron.
Counselor Eby?
Aye.
Counselor Hooker?
Aye.
Counselor Coughlin?
Aye.
Counselor Jackson?
Aye.
Counselor Salas?
Aye.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Thank you.
And then for reappointment to the Southeast Regional Transportation Planning Organization Committee, SERPTO, I would ask that we would appoint Samantha Mendez, which is our Economic Development Director, Planning and Zoning. There she is, all the way in the back. Wave your hand. So
Is that her as an alternate or?
she is the, reappointment, I'm sorry, of Ron, and then you're the second.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Ron, roll call.
Counselor Hooker?
Aye.
Counselor Jackson?
Aye.
Counselor Coughlin?
Aye.
Counselor Salas?
Aye.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Aye.
Thank you.
And then we have a new appointment to the library board, and that is Nisha Hoffman. I don't see her. Okay, like.
I move that
confirmation.
we appoint Nisha Hoffman to the library board.
Second.
Okay, discussion. Roll call, Ron.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Counselor Salas?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Aye.
Counselor Hooker?
Aye.
Counselor Coughlin?
Aye.
Counselor Jackson?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay.
I was
And-
just looking at the radar. This thing's just sitting ahead. It's not moving. We're going to get a lot out of it.
Well, and I wished it was just over Grindstone late. What I'd like to do now is go ahead and move through to the regular items, and let's go ahead and pick up item number 14. So I don't have to work with them a whole lot. So would you like to come on up? And we'll have a presentation from Mr. Salazar, he does double duty with code enforcement, animal, and a little bit of everything. We're glad to have you. So if you would start off with this, please, sir.
All right, Mayor Crawford, council members, I appreciate your time. We are here to discuss 116 Chiricahua. If you haven't received your packets, there is pictures in there, current photos. Those were taken last Tuesday. Those are the most up to date, and as of today, they have not changed. The property has been a nuisance to the village for quite some time. If you look in your packet, there's also reference back to 2013 as far as regulations that we have found and violations of the municipal code with that property. We have dealt with many property owners, so say that they were. Some have passed. There are new ones in charge of it now. And there's also supposedly a realtor office who's trying to sell the property. Our understanding is there's some serious issues with that property as far as financials and legality of it. What we're asking is action from the council to move on this property and declare it a nuisance to the village, as well as violations of many muni codes. Along with being a nuisance, it is also a hazard. If you look at the pictures, you can see the foundation is not holding well towards what is the decks are falling off of it. The roof is coming in on the east side of it. And there is also problems with the surrounding grounds from being ridden with debris, as you can see. We ask that you review this. We ask that you offer, any advice. We also ask that you make a movement on the basis of the best facts. I stand for questions.
Okay,
I have a question.
go right ahead, Counselor.
Mr. Salazar, now, okay, so go through how long this is going to take to get this cleaned up, because this is ridiculous. So,
Councilman, I couldn't give you an exact timeline. We don't have a safe contractor on staff to be able to handle this. If we go out for prices, we were thinking women maybe between 30 and 45 days if someone is available.
okay.
But I guess I was the same question. What are the steps from this point? Do we notify the property owner? Do they have some time? I mean, we've done this over the last 2 or 3 years because I want to give the order of just get the dang bulldozer over there, knock it all down and haul it off.
Mayor, Councilman, what we have done, Officer Simpson has posted on the door, as in the notes, it stipulates a violation was posted on June 29th. That is within more than 30 days of notice of violation. What we would ask is that we be able to move as far as post it with the owners as of tomorrow and say, this is the findings and this is going to be the actions taken.
Okay.
Then if we need be, we find contractors to do the work if we're not available to do it within the village itself.
Okay.
So how long before, after you tell the people, then how long can we move on it? I know that you said that.
As soon as we get somebody.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. That's the problem is there's no definite timeline. We do not have history on timeframes as far as dealing with that. I would refer to council as far as if there's any litigation that we need to review as far as that time period would be allowed.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, Mr. Salazar, let me ask.
Once we get it posted, we'll have to follow the procurement codes as far as getting bids, depending on what the price is going to be. At that point, once the bids come in, then we can assign it to somebody.
Okay.
And the funding will be coming out of general fund because we don't have as much as that's going to take in our new clean and lean ordinance.
Mayor and Council, we have appropriated $25,000 into that, and I believe last time I talked to Judy, she is prepared to put additional money into that fund if we need it.
Okay, did you have something, Joe?
I was going to ask exactly what was the violations that were listed, and are those the only issues that has to be addressed as far as him complying with the notice of violations? Because it looks to me like the decks are falling apart, that you would almost have to have a building inspector go over there and add to, I don't know if the decks are on that, as far as the violation and other, just say, building code violations.
Okay. Mayor, Councilman Eby, what we have is public nuisance, and it's going to be dilapidated properties. And it started in 2013 with a nuisance to that property. We have filed 7 times on this one property for just being a nuisance because of not just the debris, but the decks, the foundation, and things of that matter. They will always come into compliance within the time frame by about that much, but this time it's been months. Officer Simpson has tried and tried and tried repetitively to make these people understand we need to do something, and they have not done it. Granted, the original owners, when this first started in 2013, have deceased, and we do understand that, and we do appreciate that issue. But when we deal with this, as far as a building code, they haven't altered it. It's just following down structure. This is not one of those things where they've gone in and tried to maintain it or correct matters. It is just dilapidated. And there's really nothing in building code that would say, well, we're going to red tag it. They're not fixing anything, but we can post on it, stipulate it, this is not to be lived in as a nuisance.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Our attorney, so once we go out for RFP, we put the notice on there today or tomorrow. We go out for bids to see what it's going to take to bring it in compliance, and what do we need to do at that point?
Code enforcement will deliver a copy of the resolution, which is before you today, and if they can't find the homeowner, they can post it on the door, and the homeowner has 10 days to request a hearing that would be held at your next regular meeting, where he would present his case on why you should not find that it is a nuisance, basically. So we'll wait the 10 days and see what he does, and if he does nothing, then code enforcement can go forward. I would encourage you guys today, because what you're operating under is a section of law called 3-18-5 in our state statutes. We also have a parallel city ordinance, but basically gives you the power and authority to do what you're contemplating doing here upon a finding that, let me get the right language. The governing body of a municipality may, by resolution, find that the ruined, damaged, and dilapidated building, structure, or premise is a menace to the public comfort, health, safety, or peace, and require the removal from the municipality of the building, structure, ruins, rubbish, wreckage, or debris. So he's presented some sort of packet to you guys with photos. It sounds from the conversation that some of you may be aware of the property and be frustrated with the condition of it. You may, I would encourage you to have a little bit more conversation about what it is exactly that you are finding to be a nuisance on that property. Councilor Eby mentioned the decks. Mr. Salazar has mentioned falling down building as well as debris and other things, but you're all going to be making voting to make this finding that all that stuff should be removed. But if you could get to before the point of how do we get it off of there to, yeah, I find that this needs to be removed.
Well, we had a letter that was sent to their attorney, Chuck Hawthorne, and it has at least 3 items, which encompass a lot, but it says remove or properly screen all boxes, bins, containers, lumber, junk, trash, salvage material, and other materials. Remove and repair damaged or destroyed deck. Remove dead trees and other hazards that are not in compliance with the Ruidoso forestry standards. And this was mailed back, and the 30 days of this is expired. And it says that this property has to be in compliance. It's not in compliance by August 9th. So, and I know we've got close several times and then a promise and a new owner, and we backed up to give everybody an opportunity. So I think once we do figure out, because I see 2 different names of responsible parties on here, Bill and Mary McGill. And then the other one is where's the timeline? We had a whole timeline on how many things that we've sent. And I saw some other names on here, Amanda Knight.
And Aaron Mayville are possibles.
Mayor, with the Aaron Mayville, they were, how it works is the parent owners were Bill and Mary McGill. They have passed.
Okay.
Amber Knight would be the daughter.
Okay.
And then the other Sotos would be granddaughter and her significant other.
Okay.
We don't know actually who has legal right to the property. The future real estate has tried to work with these people. I know they have. Bobby has spoken with them as well, and they can't get a whole lot of action out of them, as our understanding. Our understanding is one is living somewhere in Texas, one is in jail, one is here, one is there, and we don't really have any firm footing to grab a hold of them.
Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
may I address what
Sure.
Zach just said? I went there, and it's appalling. It's not just the dilapidation of the structure. Right at the road, the trash, it starts at their driveway, and it just goes all the way back to the house. I just can't believe that. I'm sorry that you're having to live by this, because that is absolutely, it's awful. I wouldn't want to live there, and I don't think there's anybody else that would want to live there. It's just pure trash. It looks like a dump. It looks like other people are dumping, and this needs to be fixed.
So we're here for, they even abandoned their dogs, right?
Right.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, going back to council, what's the follow-on or the furtherance of this? So we do all this, go through the motions, clean it up, but do we have any recourse for recoup as far as, hey, we just cleaned this property off and now somebody shows up and goes, oh, that's great. I own this and now I'm going to build a house on it. Thanks.
Yeah, it's a regular old lien. So you hire a contractor or use village resources. You track your expenses, and then we'll file a lien against them. And then you have 4 years to foreclose that lien and do a foreclosure sale. If somebody doesn't come forward.
Very well.
And Samantha, could you aid these guys in double checking whose name is on the property with the county? You know how to do that pretty quick. So.
Mayor, I just do want to point out that the findings, are listed in here,
It's not the whole building that is recommended for demo, and it does have the findings in here.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Mayor and Officer Salazar, I just had a question also, because there's been a lot of discussion on the appearance, but, which is valid, certainly to the people who live in that neighborhood, but also I thought you made reference to the foundation being unstable and therefore wouldn't be habitable, is that correct?
Mayor, Councilman Jackson, what we believe is with the settlement and the cracking of the sides of the building, the windows being broken in, we have not been inside the property to examine it inside the home, but from just the outside appearance, it would seem that there would be major structural damage just from ill repair. Where the decks are missing, they've actually pulled away from the house, and with that, you can see where they've pulled on the walls.
Thank you.
Well, and I was going to say those decks, I mean, gosh, I wouldn't even want to walk on those. And, you know, there's one there's exterior doors over each of the decks from what I see, and the main entrance comes up on a small little deck. But the ordinance says remove or repair of dilapidated structures to include decks. And going back to what Mr. Cook was talking about, what other dilapidated structures are there on the property other than just those decks? Because my concern is, if somebody's going to repair the decks, what's the rest of the house look like? And would they be required to repair all decks because there are exterior doors leading out to every deck?
Mayor Crawford, Councilman Coughlin, I could not say on as far as the structure of the home itself. The decks are in bad shape. They have fallen away. There is no access from the outside up to them any longer. The stairs have fallen away. The outside doors, to our knowledge from just dealing with this property, they all do open out, and they do go out on those surfaces. As far as repair of any other parts of the building, like I said, windows, maybe doorways. The front door, as you can see it, which is labeled, is basically the only thing that's intact that you can actually go up to, and it looks like a normal structure. But that was due to the fact that when the last time we had dealings with these people, it was actually over a dog call, and they had secured the door and they left. And that was the last contact we've had with them.
My word.
This is disgusting.
Can we go ahead and maybe get a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I make a recommendation to adopt Resolution 2022-35, a resolution finding the property located at 116 Chiricahua Lane, Block 12, Lot 31 of the Forest Heights subdivision, amended, Ruidoso, Lincoln County, New Mexico, a public nuisance.
Second.
Final discussion?
Mayor, go ahead. Mayor, I just want to make a point that according to the findings, we're going to go in there and clean up what's consistent with the findings if it's not appealed within 10 days. If we feel, and through our observation, we feel that there may be a further hazard with the structure, we would have a structural analysis conducted by an engineer or architect making a recommendation that the building can't be salvaged. I would hate to salvage or to erase the whole building, and then the rightful owners come back and say, no, the rest of the building was still good. So there's a procedure for that from a professional, and they would give us an opinion. In addition to that, asbestos and other type of hazardous materials needs to be evaluated.
Yeah, all we're going to do is what's on the findings here and what that we're not, and then if it looks like that we need some structural information, we'll go and have that assessed at the time.
Thank you.
Mayor, right before the motion was made, I think I heard Councilor Coughlin say this is disgusting as he was looking at his computer screen. Can you describe what you were looking at that made you make that comment?
So what I'm looking at here is, gosh, just trash piled up. A deck, I mean, like I said, each of these decks is rotted. I can't see that it's pulled away. There is a picture here of what appears to be the front door, and from the pictures that were provided, it looks like it was built decades ago. I mean, I don't even want to guess how long ago this was built, not maintained, and I personally would not want to walk up those stairs to even look in their front door. I mean, it just looks completely unsafe. There is just trash. I mean, you're talking probably at least a roll-off just to get rid of all the trash, maybe more. And it's like somebody has just vacated this thing, and my guess is it's probably from like, what, the 80s, 90s maybe, when it was built, but these pictures, and I don't take these types of actions lightly at all about affecting somebody's personal property. But this is exactly why we put this lean and clean in place, because it is just, this is the worst property I have ever seen. And remember, I used to do handyman work on a lot of stuff, but this is just totally uninhabitable, from my opinion, from the outside. I'd hate to imagine what the inside looks like based on this. That's
all
what I'm
that
saying.
was just from that picture?
All this just from this.
Good
picture.
Lord.
Well,
Talk about 1,000 words.
There's 8 pictures here, actually, you know.
Okay.
But you can only do so much justice with a picture. And I haven't been, I haven't driven by or gone onto the property because it is still somebody's private property. But yeah, no, this is,
No, the trash comes to you
yeah.
when you drive by.
Mr. Mayor, from a health standpoint, if it came to a point where the inside was able to be accessed, I would strongly recommend some N95 masks because of the vermin, the droppings, and all the rest that might be inside. That would pose a very large health risk, not to say any of the flying debris that goes around with birds and the rest. So just a word of caution.
Okay. All right.
So I could go along with what Tim was there, because I was going to vote no, because I want the whole place bulldozed, hauled off all at once. We did that when we started this ordinance in Midtown, if you recall, at the bottom of Center Street.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a small building, and it was in a lot better shape than what this one was. But yet we were able to get that erased, just raised off and hauled off. So that's there. But since you said if we find more damage, and I didn't know about if there might be foundation damage or anything there. And again, it's giving the property owner, how much do you want to invest in this? And I was looking back at some of the filings. I feel bad that this has been 9 years ago.
It's awful.
Yeah.
Since 2013. I just really feel bad about that. That should have been taken care of that year. So, but anyway.
All right. So any further discussion? Ron?
Counselor Hooker?
Aye.
Counselor Coughlin?
Aye.
Counselor Jackson?
Aye.
Counselor Salas?
Aye.
Counselor Lutterman?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay. Now I want to move back to board.
Thank you for the pictures. That really helped
Yes.
a lot.
Most certainly.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Back to the village manager's report, and depending on how long you make it is how long the cake is
We
waiting.
get to get paid.
So, village manager report, Mr. Dodge.
Mayor and council, there's a couple of projects that we wanted to give you a full update. I got Mr. Boyda here to talk about a lot of the efforts that we've been making on Gavilan Canyon. Phoebe, are you also going to join Eric for this presentation? Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I hope we answered that stuff. Sorry it took so long.
Thank you.
Anything else we can help you with, I'm up there and I'm available anytime.
Okay. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Appreciate you.
Tim, thanks for those 1,000 words.
All right, Mr.
Encouraging.
Mayor Crawford, councilors, sorry, just looking at photos coming in from Warrior Drive. It's topping over Warrior Drive right now, so. But Tim asked me to talk about, just kind of give a brief summary of all the hazard mitigation projects that are going on in Gavilan Canyon. So in terms of debris removal, so, you know, we had several, 200 plus homes burn in the area. In the village proper, we've got 6 properties that are still needing to be cleaned up. 3 of those are under contract directly through the village to do the cleanup process. Another is doing it by themselves. And then we have 2 properties that we're having difficulty getting the owner to reach out to Dick Cook to coordinate for us to help them contract to clean up their properties. In the county, there's still approximately 15 properties that are left to be cleaned up, and they're having even more difficulties with contacting them. I think that some people had bought the properties and not properly filed all the documentation, and so the county sent letters. I mean, they've tried calling people, they've talked to the neighbors. So there's some people that they just were having difficulties track down who actually owns the property. Other projects that we've done, if you're driving on Gavilan Canyon, you'll see some warning signs about flash flooding and the burn scar risk. The county produced those and installed those. We've put in 7 rain gauges. Well, the USGS installed 7 new rain gauges throughout the burn scar in both McBride and Nogale Canyon. And that's what Phoebe and I were watching as the storm was coming in. It was helpful to track the storm coming through. They put it in strategic locations, so both storms coming in and then also storms directly on the burn scar can be monitored for precipitation amounts.
Eric,
Yes.
how much rain do we have to have before it starts running like that? The water, I mean.
So the debris flow modeling is designed off of, I think, 0.7 of an inch in 15 minutes is enough to trigger debris flow, but it gets a little bit more complicated when you have numerous rain events. So as we have more supersaturation in the soil from consistent rain events, it doesn't necessarily take that amount to trigger debris flow. And then also the debris flow can be more severe as there's more consistent storms.
Okay, thanks.
So the National Weather Service is saying that you need 6 full sunny days for the burn scar to dry out enough that the previous precipitation events wouldn't impact future debris flows, which I don't think we've gotten since late June. So in terms of projects that are happening on the Forest Service land, through the BEAR projects, which is the Burned Area Emergency Recovery Program, they have had difficulties with the costs that have been coming in with the bids. So because of the drought, they're having difficulty securing wheat straw, which they were planning on mulching the whole 355 critical areas, acres of area that they were going to seed. And so since mulch, I think mulch came in like 15 times higher than they estimated. Like it was.
And you're talking about our mulch that we send out here to Van Patten and then he mulches and we have available?
This is like straw. So they were going to aerial install straw from a helicopter. And so they want the wheat straw, grass basically, but it has to be certified weed free. And so the straw is light enough that it can be brought up in the helicopter, whereas that mulch that Van Patten has is heavy and has a bunch of moisture, and you would never be able to get that up into an aircraft in a sizable amount. So the Forest Service has eliminated that from their project, and they're doing a double seeding rate. So in place of mulch, they're doubling the seeding rate, so we'll get hopefully more vegetation to grow up quickly once it's put on the ground, and then that will create a mulch layer for the next year for the native grass seeds to start resprouting.
Doesn't the seed just get washed away with all these rains? That's what it did in my yard.
So it's a potential, and that's why they were trying to do the mulch, and so they're trying to do the best that they can given the situation.
When you say they, no.
The Forest Service.
The Forest Service.
Yes.
Okay, this isn't NRCS or anybody, FEMA, it's Forestry Service.
Yes, it's the Forest Service.
And Eric, that's only on federal lands, correct?
Correct. So the bear response can't happen anywhere outside of Forest Service lands.
And
It's
so-
not even just federal lands.
Exactly, when you're going up Gavilan Canyon, which side of the road are you talking about right there?
So if you're driving north on Gavilan Canyon, it would be the east side, the right
East side, or by Homestead Acres and back,
So everything to the east of those subdivisions is forest.
back towards the track.
Correct. The Forest Service has also officially closed Blue Lake Road, which is the road that goes along Gavilan Canyon Ridge. And then everything to the west of there. So basically that ridgetop road down to Gavilan Canyon, that area is closed to public access through the end of the year. So, and it's likely that they'll extend that closure after it expires in January 1st. And then they also installed, I believe, 7 warning signs on Forest Service roads and the trails going through there, warning people of the closure and then also the impacts of standing dead trees and debris flows. For the NRCS, which is doing the Emergency Watershed Protection Program, the contract with Lincoln County, which Lincoln County is the sponsor of the project, and the NRCS has been completed. That was the thing that was really delaying us. We thought we'd have that done way back in the beginning weeks of June, and it just got finished up at the end of July.
And that was because of?
The Washington DC level, the contract got to their grants and agreements section, and it stalled out with the high quantity of EWP, the Emergency Watershed Protection Program projects that are happening nationwide.
Yeah.
So the county is working with the South Central Mountain Resource Conservation and Development District, and a lot of you are familiar with Laura Doth. So she is running the administration of that program. And so she has gotten most of the site-specific contracts resolved. The village manager Dodge signed our contract with them last week for our projects. And then Laura is sending out project job sheets that the owners need to sign, saying that they approve of the practice that the NRCS had recommended. So Laura's got quite a bit of those back. She's still waiting for a handful of them, but for the most part, she has all of them in hand.
And to be clear and specific, it's the residents in the county along Gavilan Canyon.
Correct. So,
Okay.
Laura is going to be doing a lot of the work through the eco servants, and so they'll be paid, compensated out of the program for a fair value. So they're doing 123 acres of critical area seeding, and so the eco servants are going to be doing that by hand. Right now, we're ready to go for most of the seeding. It's just they want to make sure that it's safe for the kids to go out there and actually seed. So, it's not that we're going to wait for monsoons to be done, but we need to wait until there's not a chance of precipitation for a day or two. There's about 100 acres of contour tree felling in Waddles. The contour tree felling, that's where you cut down a tree and you put it perpendicular to the slope. So if the hill's going down, you put it perpendicular. That contour tree felling was coming in almost 3 times higher than what the estimate was. So the bids were coming in at $2,700 an acre, and we only had $950 budgeted through the NRCS. So they're transitioning a lot of it to install wattles, which is okay. We'll get the same effect, and then the eco servants can install the wattles. So they're preparing to do approximately 100 acres of wattles. We are working with Laura. She's having them delivered to treatment plant 3 because Randy just installed a security fence around plant 3, and we got a nice open yard for them to store those wattles. And they should be coming in this week. The NRCS has several trash racks throughout the project which haven't been bid out yet. So trash rack is meant to be put in the direct path of flow. And so as you get big debris flows, it can flow through the trash rack, but the logs and everything get held up. After the flow event, you go clean out those racks and prepare it for the next flow event. And then there's several sediment traps on village property. So we're basically building shallow ponds where water can go, and then the sediment drops out, and then the cleaner water flows through.
And this is engineered by who?
By the Natural Resources Conservation Service.
Okay. So
they have positions that are qualified engineers.
And they're paying 75% of this?
So that's the traditional program is 75% federal, 25% sponsor. In this case, through executive order, President Biden waived the 25% match for the state of New Mexico for EWP programs. So later on, when we talk about our EWP program on the river, that doesn't get that waiver, but this fire event does. Let's see. So then the Gavilan Canyon sediment and debris trap that everyone's kind of been hearing about on Facebook. So we, with our engineer and the Division of Forestry with Energy, Minerals, and Natural Resources Department, had done a site evaluation of the burn scar area, and we identified this area on Forest Service land which is right adjacent to the middle school. That was a suitable area for us to build berms and kick the flood and debris flows up onto the old floodplain and allow sediment and debris to precipitate out. So we've started construction of the project. Jack Johnson Excavating is doing the work with us. And even though we're only partially done with the project, it's been incredibly beneficial. It's protected Warrior Drive from a lot of debris, and it's capturing a lot of sediment. And I went out on the floodplain bench where we're kicking up the water last week, and there's a whole bunch of fine floatable sediment that fell out in the water there in the grass. And so that grass is going to help hold all that and stop it from flowing down and clogging up culverts. I was hoping that this project would be done by now, but it's pretty hard to work in there when we have consistent debris flows and precipitation. But Jack Johnson and his crew have been really diligent about keeping an eye on the moisture levels, and they work as soon as they can. So the project, yes.
Mayor, okay, so you're talking now about Gavilan Canyon, the berms on Gavilan that we're going to construct. Right. Okay, so where does that water go? I know that the culverts are too little in the properties, so is that going to cause more flooding? Or because now that we're going to catch the sediment, the water will be able to flow into the culverts without being clogged?
Correct, yeah, so the berms are not meant to like hold back water.
Right.
What they're doing is they're slowing down the velocity of the water. As it slows down, the debris falls out. So then we have relatively clean. It's still, turbid and dark colored, but it doesn't have all of the gravel and floatable debris and trash. So by the time that gets to Warrior Drive culvert, it can flow through the culvert.
Okay.
And the project is funded up to $100,000 by the Energy, Minerals, and Natural Resources Department Forestry Division. Our contract with Jack is for a little bit higher, just so that we have a little bit of gap in case if we have a change order. But I'm anticipating the project should be on budget and shouldn't cost the village anything except for my time, and then we spent some money with Chris Phillips to design the project.
Right.
Riverbend Engineering.
Correct. And then culvert clean out and replacements. So the village hasn't replaced any culverts, but the county replaced several culverts along Gavilan Canyon Drive. And in the process, they also upsized some of the culverts. And and then also our street department have cleaned out culverts, and they keep monitoring culverts and clean them out as there's more and more debris flows. Later in this meeting, we'll go over the 4 major culverts, but you guys already awarded the contract in the consent items for the Gavilan Canyon Road Bridge replacement, Meander Drive culvert, Warrior Drive culvert, and Gavilan Canyon Road culvert by Janet Drive. And so I've got some pictures, and I'll show you guys and kind of explain that later in the meeting. And then we've talked with Ira Pearson with Lincoln County about entering into a memorandum of agreement for us to apply collectively for these available funds to do these hazard mitigation grant programs. And conceptually, the county's on board, even with picking up their portion of this preliminary design, which is $52,000. We're just working out all the logistics of the MOA, and that should be on the commission's next meeting, and hopefully I'll have it either signed by you, Mayor, and ratified next meeting, or bring it to the next council meeting.
Okay.
So we've had a real positive relationship with the county through this whole event, and it continues on with the post-fire flooding. So that's it. Phoebe and I are working to get ourselves set up in a spot so that we can try to get as much of these available FEMA funds as they come down. And I think we should have a good chance to get, several $1 million plus to do some of these projects that we needed to do anyways.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
So to not belabor a point, you've mentioned three for sure entities, the Village of Ruidoso, the County of Lincoln, and the National Forest, correct? Those are all the affected and/or players in the area and what's taken place,
Correct, Counselor.
not just us.
Yes,
Thank you.
And not to mention the private owners that are through there too.
yes.
And you mentioned that you had worked out agreements with most of the people in Gavilan Canyon? Is it we just haven't been able to reach the other ones because we can't get a hold of the owner, or?
So, for the Emergency Watershed Protection Program, it's just, that they have a lot of stuff to sign. And so, Laura Doth is following up with it. It's not a communication issue, but sometimes it's this property's in a trust and, X person and their 5 siblings need to talk at the same time and agree to something.
Right. Okay. Any other questions, these guys? Thank you for staying on top of this, and I know the guys left earlier, and I don't see Josh either. That usually means the road crew's out there cleaning the road off. I know it's been a mess for everybody, just, more anguish for the people that were affected during the fire. So thank you very much for getting all that done and managing that with all the different entities.
Mayor, some of the families that have felt that they've been negatively impacted, Eric and I have contacted them and met with some of the families and explained to them, even, drawn pictures of how the system's working and how, what Chris and Eric have actually put in place has helped. And then we have received several property owners downstream that have reached out and showed their appreciation for, saving their homes.
All those folks on Meander, I've gotten a lot of phone calls, so.
Yeah,
yes.
so there are people out there, there's just not the negative, there's, quite a bit of positive, and I think once somebody actually sees, and we're documenting it all, we're taking pictures. Right now, Eric, I think we have somebody out there taking photos of what's occurring right now, but you can see that our projects are working. And when we speak about the culverts that are undersized, those are private culverts.
Right.
The culverts that are above may be undersized, but the county is addressing those as well. The county's been a great partner in this whole process. And we're talking with the private owners that have private crossings and making recommendations on what they can do to reduce the impacts on their properties as well. So we just continue to communicate and try to do their best to express our interest in working outside our jurisdiction and helping our neighbors.
Yeah. We appreciate that. We've been big advocates. But again, thank you guys for that.
Yes, thanks.
Thank you, Mayor, Councilors.
Okay, Dodge.
Mayor, I was hoping Adam was going to stay in here, but he ran out to help with some of the flooding that's occurring. He's managing the utility project on the housing project right now. Right now, we got the sewer going in. We've provided a schedule. This schedule is the same schedule that we signed off on. The sewer is currently being installed. They started right there off of the Lynx Trail, just north of that blue fence on the Lynx. And they're on target to finish the sewer installation. The sewer is the lowest utility that we have, so that's the one that goes in first. And then they come back with the water and the electric. The contractors are on schedule and meeting their schedule as it is shown here on this. Attached, we also put a copy of a diagram of the homes. Several of the homes that were being purchased from Fiesta, the front door actually faced the street. And it was, on the front of it. We've had, on several of these, we've had them change that to the side, and then we've had them flip the mobile homes around, or the modular homes around, to where they'll be facing the links with the front door on the long side of the building as opposed to on the end. And we thought that would make it look a lot better aesthetically, and as they look at the homes. The Fiesta homes, as you recall, were a 5-week lead time. So as of last Friday, the finance department did issue the PO and order the homes. So they're on track to start being delivered the first week in September. The AAA homes were on the lot, so we just have to issue the PO and then schedule the delivery, and those homes will be delivered. So the project's moving forward in accordance with this plan. The only thing that we're not under contract right now for is the decking and then the skirting, and then the painting of the two homes that aren't custom.
And then we've foregone the skirting and gone with the split block?
Yes, sir. And that's currently not under contract. It is budgeted for. You know, we do have the management contract ready to move forward on this property. I think we're just lacking a few numbers so that we could give them the rent calculator, and then we can move forward with starting to entertain the applications. Our management company has received a list, or has compiled a list of the people that have been displaced, and that may be potential tenants going into the homes.
Okay.
I'll stand for any questions on the housing project if you have any.
Just real quick on your diagram, the six that are, is that what you were going to ask too?
Yeah.
The six that are not filled in, what's the differential there?
Those six are the homes that are coming out of Odessa from AAA.
Okay. All 3-bedroom.
Yes, and these ones that were depicted on here, those are the Fiesta homes, and we're just showing, you know, how they're facing and how the windows are facing and the front doors.
And where the parking spots will be.
That's correct.
And what did we find out on the Postal Service?
On the Postal Service, there's several different options that we can go with. What they would recommend is that we purchase the boxes for the site ourselves and install them. If we don't go that route to install our own boxes, they can get a box there at the post office.
Okay.
So we have a couple of different options.
And the millings, when will they go down for the road? I know there's already some there just to help with the mud.
We've started to haul the millings, and they currently are under contract to rough in the roads. Right now, the reason we haul the millings is just to mitigate some of the mud, but a lot of the utilities, the trenching is going to occur in the roads. So once the installation of the utilities is complete, they'll come back and place the permanent millings.
And we're staying in contact with Mr. Pippin?
Yes, and Mr. Pippin, the easements have been obtained from Mr. Pippin and filed.
Okay.
Good, I'm glad.
Anyone else?
Yes, I know it's not under Renegade's construction, but I believe I saw the pipe for the natural gas. When is that going in?
We're not doing gas there.
Those are just, no, those are just electrical conduits and whatnot.
The orange pipe?
Yes.
Okay,
And it's all electric.
okay,
Yike.
okay. I didn't know that. I thought we were gonna provide natural gas for them too. Okay.
I didn't know that either.
No, it's been discussed.
It was discussed that it was going to be totally electric.
Question, I know you did the survey monkey or flash vote.
Mayor, if I may, I think we're going to cover that. I think we've got an agenda item for that.
Okay.
Unless you want to talk about that now, but
Well, I was just wanting to know how we're going to narrow down the names and all that. Do you have a plan for that? The suggestions?
we've,
No? You can
I don't
punt.
have a suggested, I have a suggested name, but
Okay, go ahead.
Mayor, one of the things that I wanted to update you on is, you know, Ron and I and Chris did attend the finance conference last week, and there are several topics that I think were useful. The Finance Authority talked about a lot of the packages that they have available, and not just on the private side, but on the public side. Last night we had, or yesterday we had, the agency, they actually posted the recovery grants that are available for public entities. I know that Councilor Coughlin also shared it, as did Councilor Letterman. But there's other type of packages available for economic recovery through the New Mexico Finance Authority. So we're going to be getting that information out there. In addition to that, we sat through a presentation with a New Mexico Mortgage Finance Authority. You know, they're the ones that are more on the housing side, and, you know, they talked about several of the programs that they have. And, you know, again, they're the ones that make the decision on or are tasked with enforcing the Affordable Housing Act. That was another good presentation that we sat through and continued conversation with them. We listened to the para updates and how that's going to impact the the retirement on the fire side that was implemented last year through the legislative appropriations. From my perspective, those were the highlights. There was a good training that they put on about coaching and, talking to employees and building them up and whatnot. So I enjoyed that presentation. I know that Ron and Chris also sat through several of those presentations. So I just kind of want to give you a highlight as to, what we learned and listened to, during that training session that we went to. Again, the New Mexico Municipal League is coming up at the end of the month. I know that several counselors have signed up to go to that. If anybody else is interested, we did make accommodations. Once we have total confirmation of who's attending from the governing body, then we'll open it up to directors to go as well. So I know, Mayor, you're going, and I hope whoever you assign as your alternate votes for you as the incoming president.
Vice President.
Vice President?
Vice President.
So
I could have your support.
Everybody could lobby Counselor Eby for that vote? Are you going to vote for him, Counselor? We're going to put you on the spot.
Well, he hadn't scratched my back yet. No, I'll vote for him.
Mayor, one of the big things that's going to be coming up as well, Mayor and Council, is the State Highway Department is going to be moving forward with the Cutler project. They're having a pre-con meeting on Thursday. They're proposing to move forward with Cutler starting on the 22nd. They're going to start on the north side of Meacham and then come down, from my understanding, up on Swiss Chalet. They're not too sure exactly how far the $4 million is going to take them. Ron and I are going to continue lobbying to see if we get some additional money to finish all of Meacham and then go down Sudreth as well. So, that's another big project. There's been a lot of paving complete this year. After looking at the project today, I think they're going to be able to finish Paradise by this week, if not mid.
And they move quick.
They're moving really quick.
They do.
So with that, Mayor, I'll stand for any questions that you may have.
I know Senator Ben Ray Lujan's going to be here, Monday? Tuesday? I forget.
Right now, the plan is Senator Ben Ray Lujan will be here on Tuesday at 12:30.
We're having a post-fire, that's what this is all about, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else?
I'd just like to comment on, in the manager's report, it said that the work on the mag court is being delayed by about 2 weeks because of weather. I want to say those guys are out there in the rain working. They were up on top of the building, which is a metal building, and there's lightning going on around. They're working their tails off and working really long days. They're doing a great job of moving along despite the difficulties. But there's, I go, okay, I can't look out the window anymore. I don't want to see one of those guys get fried. But they're working like crazy to get that done.
Well, a side note, the manager on that job lives here.
Yes.
And so he said, he knows, people know his address, so he wants to get it done and done right quick.
Mayor and Councilor, they are running about 2 weeks of weather delays behind. They intend to make that up. And, the contract that they have, they're supposed to deliver that by X date because, our lease payments are dependent on the completion of the project and our debt service. So in our project update meetings, they have expressed that they are running about 2 weeks late, but their intention is to make that up within the contract period.
Yeah, they're working hard to make that up.
Mayor, Council, is there any other questions?
Well, I'd like to ask you, Manager Dodge, thank Eric for his presentation and Phoebe also, but during the last, at the end of the presentation, you were talking about the different culverts, and the undersized culverts were on private property. So the question was, is that in Ruidoso property or county property? And would there be possibly a program to try to get those culverts to the proper diameter?
Mayor, Councilor, the culverts that we're talking about are all outside the village jurisdiction. And the three that I'm aware of that are undersized for today's events and the conditions that exist out there right now are on private property. And there may be some monies available for individuals to get those
Okay, just because with the Burns car, these events could be happening, and of course those particular culverts would be subject to the failing and debris building up around them. So I just wondered if there was some sort of a program or some sort of assistance or something in place, or we could look at trying to get those replaced.
Mayor, council will continue to look, and there may be funds available for them.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anything else? Okay, is that it? Nothing else for the manager?
Nothing.
Nada? Okay, you got out of there pretty quick.
Well, he does a good job of keeping us updated.
Yeah. And again, we have our project updates bi-weekly on Zoom from 7 to 9 o'clock in the morning. You're free to tune in on YouTube. It's not this Thursday, it's this Thursday.
Yes, Mayor, and under item number 2, Chris is going to be talking a little bit more about, from 9 to 10, we're going to have scheduled meetings for the hazard mitigation project directly following the capital projects meeting, but they'll go further into our whole plan on our public outreach and campaign that we're going to have for the hazard mitigation.
Okay, by Chris, you mean Christella?
Yes.
Yes.
Not Chris.
But she does like Chris.
Yeah, I thought Muirhead had got a new job. I wasn't sure.
His eyes went, what?
She says she prefers to be called Chris, so we call her
Chris.
Chris.
Okay, well, thank you. All right, anything else? Well, if that's the case, then we'll take a 15 or 20-minute break for a birthday cake. So you're all welcome to join us for refreshments.
Right.
Look at all, I'll give them all a piece of paper so they can vote on their name.
Well, it's on this list here. There's a whole bunch of them. I did like that one, too.
It sounds very pleasant.
Yeah.
NB one.
Huh?
NB one.
I don't know what that was. I don't understand that one.
NIMBY.
With Juan? Oh, I know NIMBY. Yeah, but it's not on.
NIMBY one. No, it's not.
It's not on there,
Because then
but
there'll be a NIMBY 2.
Yes.
but there's a WON in there. I didn't get that one.
NIMBY 101.
Meat chum, no.
My post there, I've never had a refill dumpster since I started my.
Bear one. WON.
Got me there.
Yes.
So you did? Yes. Mansell, you did.
She got that today.
Yeah, he's texting me.
Yeah.
I did notice on some of the other things, I don't know whether it was a city, a lot of people bring these clothes in, But yeah, no, like I said, solid waste people have been really good. I talked to Anthony, field supervisor, and we said, oh, let's try this, and we haven't had any issues since then. But yeah, I haven't had a repeat dumpster, so.
Well, good.